we are going to go out to North Carolina real quick. Frank, no pronouns given. We got just a few minutes here, Frank, but what it sounds like you want to talk a little bit about the fine tuning theory or something. What you got for us?
Well, I've called in on a previous occasion and made a reference to Alan Guth with the Institute for Advanced Study at Princeton, and he had said that the constants, the constants in physics that pertain to the universe are so precisely calibrated that it would be a gazillion to one that they were merely a product of chance. And the speaker with whom I was talking then said, well, the fine-tuning theory or hypothesis has been debunked. And okay, I'd like to hear more about that. Particularly physicists of late have come up with a concept of dark energy, an energy inherent in the universe that is causing the expansion of the universe, and that if it were off one digit at the 7th decimal place, then the universe would never have manifested because matter would have either coagulated too much for stars and planets.
Real quick, Frank, I'm just going to jump in because I think I might see where a little bit of the issue is. So unfortunately, when people speak, oftentimes we're not perfect with our wording, right? And individuals that are at a very high level of education often speak to each other in very specific, nuanced jargon, okay? And sometimes when they try to speak to us that are not so heavily involved in that particular field of study, they use some words and they say things in a way that doesn't fully explain what they're trying to say. So I have heard many of
me of that? Are you
no. Hang on, Frank. Hang on, Frank. Hey, Frank. We're having a good conversation. It's only like 2 minutes and 30 seconds in. I don't think there's any need for animosity or hostility. But what I'm saying is that oftentimes when physicists, when those high level academics say things like, if this thing were changed by blah, blah, then this would be the case or it wouldn't be the case. Okay. So what they're talking about is if all of the other constants in the universe are the same today, if everything else that we know about existence is how it is, and then we just flip this one dial, one click over, that screws everything up. But we don't actually know that another system with slightly different clicks of the dial could actually work together, right? So it could be the case that gravity is tuned just a little bit differently, but the weak nuclear force would also have to be tuned differently, right? So oftentimes when they say that phrase, it's not exactly getting the whole bit of information across. Does that make a little bit more sense, though, when you think about it like that? Oh, hang on. I'm sorry. I didn't unmute you. Now I've got you unmuted.
But also...
Sorry.
But also, the person with whom I was speaking said, well, you're only referring to one universe, and that's not a statistically significant sample. Well, the universe as we know it is at least 13.7 billion light years across, according to the James Hubble Deep Field experiment. But I want to say, well, how many universes do you need? And also that as intriguing and mystifying to me as the multiverse theory is, I wonder if there is indeed any proof per se for the multiverse hypothesis.
I think more physicists have stepped away from that in the most recent years, although I'm not 100% positive on that. But because we are getting close to the end, and I do want to have some time for the fan run Discord and stuff, Frank. But let me throw something out to you, okay? And just tell me if you've ever heard of this, okay? Have you heard about the potential for the discovery of a fifth fundamental force in the universe? Have you heard anything? Does this ring any bells whatsoever to you?
Well, the only thing I really know about that is that Einstein could not come up with a grand unifying theory, that he couldn't reconcile gravity mathematically with the weak force, the strong force, and electromagnetism.
Boom. So you are on the page. Okay. So you are on the page, Frank. Okay. So that is a big deal, that there are only 4 of those. And it is a super big deal that the weakest of which, gravity, is the one that we, as the observer, experience more than anything else. It seems to have the strongest hold on our life, but in fact is incredibly weak of a force. Okay. So, couple of experiments recently done, smashing some atoms together, large hadron colliders and so forth, okay? We may have been incorrect about the mass of a subatomic particle called a muon, M-U-O-N. This is very, very brand new, cutting edge, oh my gosh, could shift everything in science. And the reason that I brought all of this up is just really to say, like, a lot of times where we're at is a place that has taken a long time to get this level of knowledge. But the idea that that is the end point for the knowledge is almost always wrong, right? And that's good. That's good that that's the case, because it means that we can continue to learn about things and understand things and find out better answers. The difficulty, I think, lies in the ability for us to say that stuff that we don't know about is just freaking that. It's a question mark right now. And we can postulate ideas as to what could be the case, but actually trying to get to any claims right from the rip just falls flat on its face, because it's already a category of existence that we've said we just don't understand. And I think that is the most freeing place to be. When you come up to a question mark, leave it as a question mark until you have good reason to put something in that box. And that's the thing that I don't want us to take that next step of saying what this fifth fundamental force is, because we're not there yet. We think there could be one. We think it could unify everything. We think it could explain all this dark matter and stuff. But honestly, we've been trying to figure out about dark matter and dark energy since like the 70s, I think. But before we let you go, Frank, let me get Tom, just shout some thoughts at you. What do you think about that? The fine tuning, and, you know, do we know everything about the universe or what?
I don't know, man. This is like Forrest Valkai and Mikey stuff. Like, I don't know what then. I always what then? What now, Frank? And I'm not like being combative, Frank. Yeah. I assume you would have said the same thing SR would have said if you'd known it just now. I don't necessarily know the argument, but yeah, that's cool. I think you change your name from SR to PE, Professor Elliott, because you very well said. I don't think I can add anything to that.
Well, thank you, man. Well, Frank, like I said, we are going to let you go just because we are close to the end. But please, especially if you see me on again in the future, please give a call back in a little bit earlier, and we'll try to get to you even sooner, because I love to have long conversations where we can really, really hash things out. And unfortunately, we just sometimes are not able to.